Hello everyone, this is Dave from Dave's Wreaths and Things. We are on day number 5, 7 days, 7 wreaths, plus that bonus wreath right at the very end of my Wreathmas week special. I love doing this. I know you all out there love watching it. I'm excited to bring you day number 5 of Wreathmas week. Why don't I just get started and I'll show you what I made. I am using a round 14-inch wired wreath frame along with this 5-inch burlap garland that I got from the Dollarama, this 2.5-inch wired ribbon in a black and white checkered pattern from Michael's, and some of these beautiful Christmas florals from the Dollar Tree, along with my regular crafting utensils to create this project today. I'm starting out with my wired wreath frame and my burlap, and all I'm going to do is add a little bit of hot glue right at the very end, fold it over into itself. I'm going to use my handy dandy tool so I don't burn my fingers. This tool works really well. If you haven't used one before, try it. It's amazing. And then I am just going to wrap that wire wreath frame with that burlap. I'm not being too careful because it's all going to be hidden, but I wanted to hide that wire frame, so I'm going to wrap the entire wreath frame with that burlap. I'm going to cut off the excess, and then I'm going to throw down some hot glue right where that excess is going to go. And then again, I'm going to use my little tool to fold it over into the hot glue and let that dry. Once it's all dry, we flip it over and we have our base all ready to go to decorate. And for our decorations, or add-ons I should say, I'm just going to square off the end of this burlap roll, and I'm going to cut them at 5 inches. Now my burlap is roughly 5 inches, so I'm going to do a 5-inch by 5-inch square. So I'm going to cut at the 5-inch mark, at the 10-inch mark, and at the 15-inch mark, creating those 5 by 5 squares. And for me, for this 14-inch wreath and the way it's going to look at the very end, I cut 52 of these little squares. So if you're following along, I cut 52 of them, and then I'm going to show you right now how I created our little square attachments. So I'm taking my square, putting it on an angle, like so it's a diamond shape, taking the top point and meeting the bottom point right there where my index finger is. Then I'm going to follow through the middle, hold it down, and then with my left hand, I'm going to grab the left hand point. Then I'm going to fold it over, bringing it to my thumb or that bottom point. I'm going to transfer my hands over, and I'm going to do the exact same thing to the other side. So it looks like a shawl, if you will, or a scarf wrapped around your neck. So it's got like a little loop at the top. And then I'm going to take my stapler, and I'm just going to make sure all of the burlap is included in that little staple, and it's going to hold itself right in place. So there's that little loop right at the top that I'm looking for. Again, we have my little 5 by 5 square. I'm going to put it on an angle so it's a diamond shape. Take that top point, meet it at the bottom and overlap it. I'm going to hold that down, find my center, hold that down as well. With my left hand, I'm going to take that left point, bring it right to the bottom point where my thumb is. Then I'm going to transfer it over to my left hand, and I'm going to do the same thing with the right hand side, and that creates that little shawl looking effect. And at the very end, I'm going to take that stapler, staple it all together, make sure it's not going to go anywhere. And I've done 2, so I have 50 more of these to go. I know it sounds like a lot of work, but I had Christmas music going in the background. I was having a great time singing along, creating these little shawl attachments, if you will. So let's bring back that base wreath. And all I'm going to do with these little attachments is I'm going to place 2 side by side all the way around. So all I do is I take the back side, add some hot glue, flip it over again, and this is a little bit off-centered, and I'm going to place it down. And then I'm going to place another one just to the right of that one, almost in line with it, hold it down in place, and I'm going to continue that same pattern all the way through and all the way around the wreath. So I'm basically aligning those loops together so they're kind of all in a line, and I do this effect all the way around. And at the very end, just to fit them in, I'm going to cut off those tips just below the staple, and once that's in there, my base wreath is all done. Look how gorgeous this looks. I have used this pattern once before and I absolutely love it with the burlap wreath. It looks so elegant, so nice. And you can see here, burlap does fray. I like the effect of it. If you don't, you can totally just cut it off. For our bow, I am going to cut 5-foot lengths. So here I'm using ribbon number 1 and I'm going to cut it at 5 feet. And then ribbon number 2, I'm going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to measure out 5 feet, and then I'm going to cut at that 5-foot mark. Once I'm done that, I'm going to bring my first ribbon back, lay it down. At the 12-inch mark, I'm just going to pinch it with my fingers, just bringing it and raveling it all together. Then I'm going to transfer that to my left hand and just hold it there nice and light. You don't have to hold it too tight. You can just hold on to it very loosely. If your thumb muscle starts hurting, you're holding on to it just a little too tight. Let it go a little bit, loosen up, and then everything will be fine. Once I have it in my left hand, I'm going to measure out that 12 inches again, and I'm going to create my first loop by gathering that ribbon all together in my right hand, and then I'm going to bring it towards my left hand, transfer it and hold it with my left. And now we've created our first 6-inch loop, so our tail's at the bottom, the loop is at the top. And we're holding it again nice and light with our fingers. We're not holding it too tight. Then we're going to come down and measure out 12 inches again, creating a 6-inch loop. And now we're going to meet our left hand once again and bring that gathered ribbon to our left hand to hold. Then once we have it in our left hand, we're going to twist it, making sure that good side is facing upwards. We always want to make sure that good side is facing out. And we're going to measure 12 inches one more time, creating a 6-inch loop, bringing it right back to our left hand to hold. And now we've created 3 6-inch loops. With a pipe cleaner, I'm just going to gather it all right in the center, twist it all around, and I'm not going to cut off the excess just yet. And I'm just going to give it a couple of seconds of a good fluff, and then I'm going to create dovetails right at the very end to finish off those ribbons, like I always love to do on my channel. And I'm going to do the exact same process we just did with our second ribbon, where we're going to create 6-inch loops, 3 of them for this, and then again 12-inch tails right at the bottom, adding that twist tie or pipe cleaner right at the center. And then we're going to finish it off by dovetailing those tails. And then once we put these all together, we're going to see how this beautiful bow all comes together. We're just attaching 2 of those pieces together with pipe cleaners, and then you just twist till your heart's content. And then once you're done all that, we're going to create something else. We're going to create a center loop, where I'm just going to cut a piece of that first ribbon at 8 inches. I'm going to take my stapler and staple that and create our little disc here. Then I'm going to gather it right in my fingers, bring it over a twist tie or pipe cleaner, twist it around a little bit, and then we can attach that right at the center to finish off our beautiful bow. And of course, you know me and my channel and my love of fluffing bows. I'm going to fluff it up, and here's the final result, ready for our wreath. How gorgeous does this wreath bow look? And to attach my bow onto my wreath, I'm just going to take those pipe cleaners and twist them around, making sure it's nice and secure. I'm going to flip it over again, and I'm going to start fluffing up that bow to make it look big, bold, and beautiful. With my little Christmas floral picks, I'm just kind of doing a dry run to see where I want them. Once I figure out that this is a good placement, I am just going to hot glue those down in place to make sure they're not going to go anywhere. And then Our final wreath, all done, all completed with those beautiful burlap little shawl looking attachments. I love this pattern. I know you guys are gonna love it as well. And our big, huge black and red checkered bow with the little bit of burlap accent in there and those Christmas floral picks. I just love how this wreath turned out, and I hope you did as well for day number 5 of Wreathmas week. Don't forget to check out that playlist right in the description box right down below so you can see all the other videos. Thank you so much for watching. Take care. Bye for now.